Welcome, ladies, to day 12 of 12 days of Craftmas. I can't believe that we are on day 12 already. To finish off our 12 days, we are going to be creating the bells for this beautiful wreath that I have made. Look at how spectacular those bells look. So we are going to be using some very inexpensive bells that I bought at the dollar store. Cheap, gold, whatever color, doesn't matter what color, and we're going to make them look old and grungy and rusty, and we're going to just have some fun playing with that. And then you can decide if you want to put it in the center of a wreath, if you want to make a door hanger like I've done. You'll have many options that you'll be able to use these beautiful bells. So to start, I don't have well, here, actually, if you look inside, you can see they were just, like I say, just a cheap gold came to, and I just took it apart. All I did to start to prep the surface is I painted them with some black gesso. So as you can see, I didn't do the inside because I figure you're not going to see the inside, so I didn't do the very inside. But I did do as much as you're going to see, and then I did cover the entire bell with the black gesso. So then that gives me a prepped surface that I'm going to start working with. And then from there, I just used some grit paste. And I should have that out for you. Oh, here. So I just used Tim Holtz Distress, the grit paste in translucent, so that being translucent, it's supposed to be clear, but because I'm mucking it on there, it's not so clear, which does not matter because we're going to be covering all that up anyway. So to do that, I just used a stipple brush and I just went into the paste and just randomly went around. For these bells, I did concentrate more on the bottom. I didn't do anything at the top, and then just kind of lightly in some spots. So I've already done that to prepare it to get ready to move on to the next step, so that we didn't have to wait for that to dry. So black gesso, add some grit paste on there, and then you're gonna paint it with some kind of metallic paint. Now, whatever finish that you have, whatever paint that you have, go ahead and paint it with some metallic paint. Now, for my original sample on, let me just grab it here for you. On this one, I used some metallic paint from Prima. It was kind of a very bronzy, was thick. It worked great, but I noticed that I can't get this anymore. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to use something that I can't get, but that is what I used initially. So I ended up going to Michael's and I just got a brushed metal folk art, just regular metallic paint. So, I mean, you can start with whatever you want. Mine is kind of brassy. If I wanted it more like this, it would have been a little bit darker, but this worked just fine. So this one I've already done, but I'm going to show you how so I have an old sponge. I've had this thing literally forever. I think I used it back in my folk art painting years, which was like 30 years ago probably. I just pulled it out of my stash. I dampened it so that it's damp, and then I'm going to use this to paint. And so I'm just dabbing into my paint to get some paint on there, and then I'm just tapping. I'm just pouncing. And I don't need, it doesn't need to be completely covered. Some of that black can show through because it will add to the dimension and the texture that we're creating. Oh, maple bug just landed in my hair. Darn things. They were awful this year. I don't even know how they got in. They were on the outside of my window. I'm not sure how they got in the house. It's so annoying. Okay, so I could add just a little bit more paint on there, but for this part, I think I'm happy with that. So you'll just have to set that aside to let that paint. I'm just putting my sponge until I can clean it. I'm just going to put it in a plastic bag until I can get it washed. Now I am going to tell you this, you're going to get dirty. So for my customers that don't want to get dirty, you're going to get dirty. I hate to tell you, but you are. I'm not that worried about it. I've already been playing with some stuff tonight for the demo, and it's not bad. My fingers aren't bad. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead with this one because this one is already ready to go and we're ready to grunge it up. So I've used a few different products to grunge it up. We're gonna start with some distressed crayons. I've got Evergreen Bow. If you have patina, patina would work really well too. Rusty hinge, peeled paint, and some black soot. So for this part, I literally just randomly, and I mean randomly, just put some crayon in random spots, go around. Now we'll add some rusty hinge. And I'm just adding it on there. We'll go in and we'll add some peeled paint. So we're going to start with those and then I'll add some black after. So I've got Tim Holtz, one of his blending brushes, I think they're called. Let me pack here. Yeah, blending brushes. So this one is just I do have one that's specifically for brown, so I have a W written on it, so I know it's just for walnut. This is one that I use for anything and everything. I just go in and just kind of clean my brushes after I'm done, but I'm not that worried about what color is on there and what I'm doing. You can use your finger, but because of the grit paste, it's tough on your fingers. So that's why I like to use the brush. And then all I'm doing is just working that crayon into my project. Just kind of blending the colors together. This is just creating the base. It's just going to give us some depth. So I'm just going around. And we're just working those colors together. You can see I didn't have any crayon there, but because of the crayon that I've got in my brush, it works. Okay, so already we're getting that green, rusty. Let's go in and we're going to add a little bit of black soot in there. And again, just random spots. There's no rhyme or reason, and we're just going to blend that in. Just twisting. Sorry, the black is just a little, it's just easier to work on this bell if I've got it flat on my mat. Do a little up here too. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So see how it gets all All grungy looking. Okay, so now we'll add the next layer, which is some metallic wax. So I'm using the Prima metallic waxes. I love that they're in the new squishy tubes now because it just makes it so much easier that you can just put out just a little bit. You're not working in that pot, that little pot that they used to have. If I'm doing smaller projects, I like to just tap my finger into it and not put any out here, because I do find that a little bit easier because I get less on my finger and I waste less. But because we're doing such a big project, I am gonna, because you need to, like I had that little pile, but you do need to kind of blend it out because you don't want it mucky. When you're working with wax, you don't want it mucky. I just want to hit with my finger, I just want to hit the high spots of the grit paste. So just like with the crayon, I'm just going in random spots and just adding. I'm working graphite is the color that I have right now. And then we're gonna add, we'll add a little bit of the aged brass in there. This one's very similar to my original paint color, so you're not gonna see much of it if it's on the actual paint. It does just give you some nice little shimmer. Let's get my finger a little white. We'll go into some copper. We've got some rich copper. This one I use very lightly because it does, the aged brass is because they're lighter colors, you will see them more than you do with the graphite. So I'm using a lighter finger with this. Less product and just kind of working it in. If you get a spot, say if you get a spot like that and you're like, okay, that's too much, just take some paper towel and just blend it in and kind of take some off and blend it in, and then you'll be able to go back and fix, because yeah, I don't like that spot that I got going there. So we'll just work it in and take some of it off. So this is just a layering process. This is just part of the layer. And I'm just, you just keep adding until you're happy with the final result. I'm gonna add a little bit of copper up there. And then, I mean, if you decided that, you know what, you've kind of lost the crayon, like, I mean, I can see the crayon really well there. If you're like, yeah, you know what, I kind of want a little bit more in there. I may not tend to use my brush for this part now that I have some wax on here. I'll just use my finger. Let's add some, and I'll just work. So it's literally that easy to create a rusty, grungy texture. All I've done is some crayon and some waxes, and you've got grungy goodness, and yeah, you're dirty, but it washes off, or most of it washes off. Okay, so from here, I'm just gonna push this stuff to the side, and I'm just gonna show you what I've done for my actual, for this door hanger that I made. So Dollarama this year has really stepped up their game. I hate to give a shout out to the dollar store, But their greenery this year is really nice. Really, really, really nice. So I grabbed these just to show you. And of course their prices are good. Like there's 3 picks here and I think they were $3 each. Yeah, they're just, this one's my favorite. I don't know. I love the greenery in this one. So grab yourself some greenery picks, whatever you want to work with. And all I did, it's really simple. Just lay them out kind of how you want them to be. So for mine, because it was long like this, and then I put the bells in here. So my bells were hanging in here. Sorry, it's really hard with this video to get. Maybe I'll see if I can push you up a little bit. So yeah, so you just decide what you want for this, and you're gonna see, I would take this pine cone out so that I could nestle these in there more, and then just stuff in there. So this part, take it and wrap it with some wire and get this nice and tight so that you've got that wrapped with some wire, so you've got a stable base, and then you can add in your bells where you want them. And then I just started stuffing. Like I got a eucalyptus one and I cut it apart. If you have some good, in my studio, all I have is just cheap little wire snips that didn't do a very good job at cutting. I think I did get a couple of them cut on my original, but the one yeah, so I was able to cut this one, and you can see that I have wire that's holding it all together. That's my bow. But this one, I actually just folded it over because it's wire, right? I folded it over and that became my hanger. So it worked perfect that I can now use that to hang on my door. So the back side, you can see some of them I've glued. I've used some hot glue and I've glued some pieces in. These longer ones were from the dollar store as well. It was a garland, and I just pulled these off. I'll just pull a couple off so that you can see. They were just long, and again, very, very cool. And then once you have your bells in there, and then you can just go in and you can add some of these, stuff those in there wherever you need to. If you have some greenery, you can take it apart. I think like this is an extra greenery that's in there. I glued in some pine cones. I glued in some extra berries because the berries weren't hitting right where I wanted them to be. So I just glued in some extra berries. And just take and just stuff it with your greenery until you're happy with your end result. Or like I say, these would look really cute inside a wreath. If you had your wreath and you had your bells hanging inside the wreath, that would look really pretty too. Lots of options that you could do with these. And a couple other little samples that I did for you is I took this little guy. I'm gonna bring it back closer. This was a set of 3 bells that I found at the dollar store and did the same procedure that I just did on these big ones and made some little ones. Look at how cute those are. And then I had this I bought as is, and I'm like, how cute will that be? And I'll just dangle in the little bells from the bottom that are super cute. And then another one that I did, this is a door hanger. Let me move these out of the way so you can maybe see better. This was a door hanger, again, from the dollar store, but it had 5 little bells. And so I did the exact same procedure that I did with the big ones, with these little ones. These ones took a little more time because I didn't want to I really liked the top of these bells were already like an aged bronzy kind of feel to it, but like look at how cute those are. So I don't know if I'm going to keep it as a door hanger, or this would look really cute. These little 5 bells would be cute hanging from a wreath as well. Depending what I'm doing, they would be really cute hanging. So that is what I have for you. grab this again so you can have one last look at these beautiful bells, aged, rusty looking bells. So thank you so much for joining me for 12 days. It has been so much fun. And we may end up having to make this an annual event. A lot of work, but a lot of fun. And I'm really happy to share all of my ideas with you. So thank you so much. Everyone, please have a Merry Christmas. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your time together. And we will be seeing you in the new year. Watch and wait for some fun things that I'm going to have happening in the new year. Thanks again for joining me. Talk to you soon.